Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Saturday at 9:43 a.m. Sorry, a.m. And I'm just kind of sitting here. Just got my house put together, made my bed. I'm going to sweep the floor and do some light dusting. It gets really dusty in this house. You won't believe the dust that comes in here. I think it's just I don't know. I think it comes through the cooler system, but I'm always having to sweep here and there and dust here and there, and you can't fight the dust. But I was thinking about how when gossip starts, and I probably will put my video in the description box, the one I made about gossip. I think I made that video in 2016 before I knew what all this bullshit was going on, but still I knew gossip is a big part of it. So I would love to see the looks on these perpetrators' face when they find out that they were full of shit, It's not me wanting to rub it in their face, but, I feel better because, you need to figure out and get to the root of what the issue is. And people are going to talk. I mean, you can't stop people from talking. And even though I think it's a moral issue about, when it relates to gossip, because it can destroy a person's life and it can affect them in ways such as this. And, it's very damaging to a person. So people really should watch their tongue. And you could bring up the Christian aspect of it as well. Because if people really are God-fearing, which this issue kind of proves that it's just a bunch of bullshit, that they would have a conscience, they would develop a better conscience about those sort of things. But the thing is that if I was separated from Joel, which I am, okay, and I'm getting divorced from him, if I was in fact seeing the cute guy, I wouldn't even have a problem talking about it. I'm not the kind of person that throws my business out in the street, mind you, because I don't see any reason for that. And I don't really have a close relationship with anyone here in this town for me to talk about my personal life. But I will say that, that would be, to me, nothing to be, to keep private or be ashamed of, you know what I mean? So these ideas and these rumors are being generated by bored people who really are desperate to get attention or stay within a certain social circle. And they should be ashamed of themselves. When that stuff starts coming out of their mouth, they should be embarrassed about the things that they're saying. Because when people are gossiping, that they have absolutely no strong character or personality that allows them to develop any sort of relationships without being the low-life scums of the earth. But I do feel glad that I'm putting this all together. And it's funny because, when people gossip, they look for any sort of reason to try to think or believe that gossip is right. Especially when it becomes a community issue, because like I said, it's what keeps their association together. If they don't have a person to continually persecute, then the relationships with other people kind of fall apart. So these losers will probably find some other target to sit here and gossip about. But don't you dare sit there and call yourself a Christian. Don't you dare try to act like you're a good person, because you're not. You're not a good person if you're the kind of person who basically destroys the reputation of another person. That's bullshit. Think about what you do before you do it. So anyway, no, I had no connection to the cute guy, and and all of it was rumors, and it surprises me because if this is going on or going back as far as I think it was, I would have never thought in a million years that people would have put some sort of connection to the cute guy in me. None whatsoever. Because, like I said, I hadn't heard anything from him. And no one ever mentioned him. Like when I went, the brief times that I would communicate with certain people that I used to know on Facebook, no one ever mentioned him. No one ever, and nothing. No indication whatsoever about that at all. So all of it kind of throws me for a loop. The only times that what I'm thinking about is when I was working over at Organized Sports and I'm looking back, backtracking. And that's the only thing I can think of, and then how this kind of puts things back together into where I can understand what the hell is going on. So, no, none of the rumors are true. None of it. And so, people want to use reasons to judge, because people are hateful, they're spiteful, they're wicked, and they try to use justification for their, what do you call it, psychotic behavior or their psychotic rages, so they could feel better or justified in their reasons for having some sort of dislike for another person. But really, when you look at it, they have no reason to. And if they do, then obviously these people are just miserable, jealous people, because there's nothing really to say. So, no, I'm innocent, and so I have stated my case in over 700 something videos talking about this issue, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect person. God knows I've made my mistakes in the past, but this is just like, my God, this is the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard of in my life. Blaming a person or accusing a person of something is, that's a very serious issue, and it's slanderous, that's why I get so angry about it. And then these employers getting involved in it, knowing, they should have known from the very get-go, if either they knew that I had no connection with the cute guy, and they were orchestrating all of this behind my back, and then are you trying to put me in a situation where I'm forced to choose between two people, like my ex-husband and the cute guy? You know what I mean? And then that's like the only alternative that they're thinking. Well, the thing is like, the cute guy can come here anytime he wants to, okay? I would love to get to know the cute guy. But the thing is that you can't prevent a person from living their life and basing it on the if or, either situation or whatever. That to me is ridiculous. So it prevents a woman from being able to live their life, That was really stupid on their part, because how would I even think that he was an option or consider this as an option? You know what I mean? Because I had no idea of it. So, and there's no way people could have ever thought that I had anything to do with the cute guy, especially if you were to look at Facebook. I never communicated with him at that time. After 2008, I wrote him one email, and I never communicated with him after that. And I never sent him any emails. I didn't have an email address for the cute guy. I never phoned him on the telephone, never contacted him on the phone. That's quite a distance from Bakersfield to up north in California. So I've never, drove up there and saw him. I mean, there was zero, none whatsoever communication with this person. So all of this is made up bullshit. Now, if he was a secret admirer, kind of being a, predatory stalker within the workplace area, I had no knowledge of it. But it is a very common issue, and that makes me understand that that's a possibility. Oftentimes when women are targeted, it is in relation to something similar to that, especially single women or whatever. So that's what made me kind of think, okay, that kind of makes sense, So when you squash the gossip, women gossip, okay? I would say that's one of the reasons why I don't really deal with a lot of women. I would love to have more women friends, but unfortunately, most women are backbiting types. I wouldn't say most, I shouldn't say that, but the ones that I had to deal with are very backbiting. And I try to look for women who are very self-confident, people who like themselves and are content with themselves, and they don't have to resort to that sort of thing. And that's very hard to find. Because, most of the time you get together with women, that's what they're doing. They're tearing other people down. And those are the insecure women that I want nothing to do with. I want women who have, their own interests and their own hobbies and their, whatever. And then they can coincide well with me so that we could do different things together. Talk, do projects together, create things together, whatever. bounce ideas off each other's head. A constructive relationship is basically what I look for when it comes to females. And so when it comes to the gossip thing, I look at that as a very strong, a huge character flaw. And obviously, if a person is gossiping and uses gossip to develop their relationships and their standing within a community or whatever, then if they're talking about other people, you can pretty much bet that they're talking about you behind their back, because it's in their nature, okay? And so those aren't the kind of people that you want to associate with. So if you see or hear somebody talking crap about me, you need to look at them with a side eyeball and just basically realize that they're a very pathetic person, because that's exactly what they are. They're pathetic. Anyway, so it's Saturday. I've been kind of slow moving on my projects and finishing the thing that I needed to do for my son. It's been a very draining week. A lot of anxiety, a lot of worry and anger as well, because this is something that should have never happened, and I'm pissed off about it, obviously. So it's been a big drain on me, so it kind of prevented me from doing a lot of things. When I'm not feeling my best, I'm just kind of sitting here around on my couch and thinking and wondering and pondering everything, and it prevents me from moving and doing things that I need to take care of, I need to get on with my life, and these people who are preventing me and putting situations in place to basically disrupt my journey in life and the things that I need to do, need to stop it, because it's not a consensual thing. It's not me saying I agree with any of this. I don't agree with any of it. So you're basically preventing someone and doing something against someone's will, What happens with the cute guy in me, well, that remains to be seen. He knows the doors are always open to him, and I would love for him to come by and talk to me and spend time with me. And he can do that anytime he wants to. He doesn't need anyone's permission to do that. He's an old enough person to make up his own mind. If he wants to, he can, But in the meantime, I need to get on with my life, And I feel, violated that somebody would take it upon themselves to start rearranging my life in a way that, against my will, against my consent, I'm very angry about that. Or trying to set up my life, the way that they think that I should be living, that's bullshit. It really is. So anyway, I think I said enough this Saturday morning. I have a right to be angry. I think that, when it comes to employers really are lacking in their judgment on these issues, And when I think about people who work in these positions, you have a lot of people who claim to be experts in this field, but this is an issue that shows that they're not. That position is not that difficult. Okay, if you really just look at it from, the issue relating to filling out forms and processing them, they're not that difficult. Okay, but the issue is if they had a clear understanding and if they were really competent in their jobs, they would have never participated in this in the first place. And it should leave a question mark in the minds of other people. Why would somebody do something like this? And it shows that they are open to corruption and they're ignorant, okay? And that is something that you should be terrified about, because they're the kind of people that would defame you. They're the kind of people that would smear you. They don't adhere to fair business practices. And so why would you want to work for a company that does this sort of stuff? Because your life is in jeopardy, okay, by someone that you're supposed to feel comfortable with. Like, what's in your, it's like people disclosing information about you, or even worse, creating rumors about you. When you call for a job reference, you're not supposed to disclose more information that you're supposed to, okay? By saying certain things about a person, or whatever, you are basically opening yourself up for a lawsuit. Okay, there's ways to verify a reference, and that's one of the things that they warn you about when you're looking at professional information or what do you call it? Employment issues, things that relate to employment issues. It's wrong to do that. So anyway, yeah, I'm very angry with Karen Johnson and Steve Murray, all these people, you know, especially when I've made it very clear that I had nothing to do with them and I wanted nothing to do with them, and they continue to persist in my life. That outrage, I mean, I'm just outraged by it. And you know, anytime you hear an employer, I'm not sure if they've said something along these lines, but they certainly, their actions kind of indicated it. Anytime you leave an employer and because I've spoken to a lady who says that her boss, before she terminated her or she left her position, she said something along the lines of, "You'll never work in this industry again, you'll blah, 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 blah." If somebody says something like that, it's very important that you take note of it, because nobody has the right to prevent you from doing anything like that, okay? They don't have to give you a good reference, which I will say for these both employers, they should have given me good references. Why? Because I did a good job for them. Their harassment, they created harassment in the workplace, or they allowed that harassment to continue in the workplace. As far as me accomplishing all of my work, that was something that I did, and I did a good job. But as far as, what do you call it? Them saying that they have a right to, they don't have a right to. The only thing that they can do is say that, are you eligible for rehire or you're not eligible for it. Really, I should be eligible for rehire. I wouldn't go back to those companies, mind you, but I've done nothing wrong to say that I wouldn't be eligible to be rehired. The fault lies on the employer, period, okay? And they should have never gotten involved in this issue in the first place. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, but be careful about people who say that. If you ever work for a company and you hear a boss saying something like that, you need to understand that this person is not somebody that you want to work for, okay? Because these people have an incorrect way, and they're very narcissistic, okay? And they don't have those legal rights to do that. And they should never be saying things like that out in the open in the first place. You know, they shouldn't be thinking that way. You know what I mean? They should be evaluating people as you go along. And they don't have the right to prevent or block you. That is illegal to do. Blacklisting, reassigning, or anything like that. It's all illegal. All of it. And so you need to understand and know your rights when you work for employers. Because, and then also you need to be very leery of these sort of people. You shouldn't want to work for them, and you certainly wouldn't want to do business with them because they're not competent in what they're doing. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to finish my little chores around here. And I got laundry to do. I meant to do it yesterday, but I got kind of sidetracked. I was just kind of bogged down with my frustration and anger. I'm telling you, it is debilitating when you go through something like this, because it takes away so much of your energy and your enthusiasm for your daily life, you know. And yeah, these people should be sued for everything that they have. Wrapping up this video, have a wonderful day, Bakersfield. I'll be back with another one later.